This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's a dark, moody start to our day as the cold front continues to run unabated here at Djuma Private Game Reserve. But there's a lot of things in the air because we can hear cracking of branches, we can hear lions roaring, and, well, there's always a chance that Kalamba is still at her kill. So we hope that you're strapped in and ready for this, your very own live African safari. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sunrise Safari on a chilly morning here. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be, but it is chilly this morning. So, you know, we're going to try and kind of stay nice and warm, and I think it's going to get colder as the morning goes. So there's an elephant in front of us, Morgan. I thought I heard cracking of branches. So Ellie is already straight off the bat. No, it's not an elephant. That's not what we want to be watching at all. Oopsie. Oh well, this is the way it goes. Anyway, well, I'll eventually introduce myself, but before I do that, let me just tell you that we are coming to you live from South Africa. Sorry, I have the giggles now. We are coming to you live from South Africa. So we'd love to hear from all of you and tell us why we are a bunch of Muppets sometimes when we do things like this. And you can do so using hashtag WildEarth on Twitter or at FC on the YouTube Strat stream or on any of the other platforms. And kiddies, if you're awake this morning, you can send your questions to kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I don't know how we're going to get around this one, but we will try. Morgan's going to lovely show you the cloudy weather that we've got this morning. I can see that, Morgan. It's beautiful clouds that have rolled in with this cold front, and hopefully I'll be able to find a gap somewhere here in order to you know, get around our little problem that we've got right now. Here's some oxpeckers calling. All right, talking about the clouds and what's going on, let's send you across to the weather for this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the other half of the Djuma team. This is Team Wendy. Davy and I thought for a second there we saw a pygmy kingfisher. We both got extremely excited. It's a brown hoodied, I'm afraid, not a pygmy, and it has flown off. But my name is Lauren. I do have Davy on camera today, and it's very overcast. I struggle with this light, I must say. Davy can give you a view of Gowrie Dam. It's very low light conditions. So we just saw this bird we knew was a kingfisher, but we thought, is that a pygmy? My goodness. And I've had many questions from you lately about the dam cam. So this is Gowrie Dam. It's sometimes called Vuotella Dam. I guess sometimes it's called Djuma Dam, which is a little bit confusing. But it's the main dam next to the Djuma Lodge, the Vuotella Lodge. So if Davy just sort of goes a little bit to the left, you're going to see this bright light. There we go. Look at that bright light. That is the light of the dam cam. So the dam cam sits over Gowrie Dam, basically. So if you're watching the dam cam, you're looking at the exact same dam that I am showing you right now. Many of you have said, I'm confused. Well, I hope that clarified. I call it Gowrie Dam, but you wouldn't be wrong if you said Djuma Dam or Vuotella Dam, really. Or the big dam next to the dam cam. You can call it whatever you like. But it's not as cold as I really anticipated today.
Yeah, Lauren, I'm going to leave the area, not join. So if she coming back, let us know.
Copy, Ops, will do. I thought it was going to be actually much, much colder. And I believe Miss Kalamba is not on the kill. So we are going to head there. So she's somewhere nearby sleeping, and this is what Kalamba does. She has a kill stashed in the tree, and she leaves. And I think that's what happened with Shasha. Shasha was able to get her kill because she left it. And he came along and he thought, oh, there's an impala already hoisted. This is the best day ever. And that's what I firmly believe happened the day with Shasha. So she's not there right now, but we're still going to go there, scratch around, see if she eventually comes back. I don't know if Darkmane's in the area, but he's hungry and he's got a bit of a reputation for stealing leopards' kills, even out of trees. Lions can climb trees, they're just not so graceful at it because they're heavier. They're much heavier than leopards. So we're going to go and investigate the area and see what we can find over that side. Okay, so I'm on my way. Wish me luck. I really hope Miss Kalamba appears. And we're going to send you guys over to the Leopard Whisperer himself.
Well, good luck, Lauren. I'm sure you'll find it. Right, now let's try this all again. There's an elephant, everybody, and that is a correct animal. And my name is Tristan. And on camera, I've got Morgan. I promise you we'll get it right this time. But yes, that's one of the funnier opening segments I've had in a while. Did not go according to plan at all, just so everybody knows. In case that was not clear during all of that and looked as though we were just messing around. We were not. But yes, there is an elephant. And the reason why I thought it was an elephant is because I saw a big grey thing and I was like, oh, branches have been breaking. Elephant. Didn't really pay much attention and then realized I'd made a fatal error quite quickly into that. And anyway, we've got a cow and a calf busy crossing at the moment. They're heading into a kind of thick, dense area, so we probably won't stay with them for too long. Reason being is that there have been some lions roaring. It sounds like somewhere from Gari, Maine, which could very well be in Djuma Pride. So, we haven't seen them for a while. It might be worth going and just checking out where they are and what they're up to. Particularly because our Ellies are going to go into a place where, well, off-roading for them is going to be increasingly more difficult. And so I would rather just let them kind of go and do their thing. I can hear quite a lot of them inside here. So, that'll be a good place for them. I just want to go forward slightly, Morgan, just so we can actually see them again. Shame, she's a little bit nervy with the vehicle as well. I don't know why. I think with her baby, she's not nearly as relaxed. You see how she's moving off already? And she's kind of turning to face us. So that's her kind of wanting to eat something, but a little bit nervous of us. So I don't want to kind of follow her through thickets. She's not going to enjoy us crashing around. Obviously being on the road is one thing, but crashing around in thickets is a whole different thing altogether. Now, I didn't even get into my plan for the morning. My plan for the morning is to not be silly and not misidentify things, because actually I'll tell you a funny story. First, we started with the elephant that's not an elephant. And then we were coming down the road, and there's that little baby elephant was on like the edge of a mound, and I just saw its little bum disappear. And I said to Morgan, I was like, what is that? Is that an aardvark? And then I came around, and there was an elephant with ears. So I'm going to try to be better from now on, because I feel like I've done very badly in the space of about 5 minutes. And try and see if I can actually identify an animal correctly going forward for the rest of the morning. But yeah, we're going to try and kind of just head down and see what happens and see what we can get. We had such a nice afternoon with the Ellies yesterday, spending time with them, going about their business. That'll be nice to try and see if we can find something else for the start of the day, particularly because it's at that time now where the nocturnal animals will still be busy. It's quite dark this morning, and so it makes... I can hear the lions roaring now. I think it might not be on our property. Sounds like it could be coming from Little Gari, but we'll go check. just to make 100% sure. All right, Eddies, enjoy your day. Let's carry on, Morgan. Let's go try and see what we can find. Bye, elephants. Have a nice day. Morgan, did you wave bye to the elephants, or were you rude to them? Hello, Morgan's waving nicely with his little blankie and his little coffee cup. For those of you that don't know what Morgan looks like, or what his coffee cup or little blankie looks like, David did a very artistic piece yesterday morning on Morgan's little blankie and his coffee cup. He also did a really nice... I mean, Morgan, I feel like he caught your good side in that ridiculous close-up of your nose and eyes. You should pay you, but... Exactly. But, anyway, that's the way it goes. All right, on a more serious note, let's just pay attention here, because this is a thoroughfare for animals of late. We've seen a lot of leopard moving around this area, so I just want to double check on tracks while I go. I don't want to, be messing around too much and not pay attention. No, hello, elephants. Morgan, did you wave? There we go, Morgan. Don't be rude to the Ellies this morning. You have to wave at them. How many are there going to be, I wonder? I wonder if this is not the same herd I had yesterday afternoon, because there was lots of youngsters in that herd too. All right, we're going to slowly weave our way through these Ellies and try and see if we can get past them, so we can... Oh, there's tracks for a male leopard too. And see what we can find. Hopefully we'll have some luck. Hello, little elephant. You can see, excuse me, that they're busy feeding at the moment, so I'm going to keep quiet before I choke to death and let you just listen to the sounds of the Ellies. Well, let our elephants just pass, and like I say, we'll continue. We'll just check on this leopard track and just see if it is a male leopard or lions. It looks male leopard-like though, so we'll have a little quick look at that and see where it goes.
She's definitely not come back to this jackalberry. And this is one of the most magnificent trees on Gowrie Cutline. We always talk about this jackalberry. It's a real sort of beacon point. You know that jackalberry? Yes, I know the one you're talking about. We always want to see leopards in it. And I've had Kalamba up here with a kill before, when I was here with Trishala. And of course, Kalamba's come back again to this exact jackalberry with a kill. Now, she's not here, and the light is just, I don't even know if you'll be able to see it, but the kill is still up there. But this is quite typical of Kalamba. Now, if Davi can just slowly show you, we're in the drainage of the Mulwati on the very, very northern side. And if we just look around here, ever so slowly, there's a Tamboiti over here that we've also had Kalamba in. You see that Tamboiti right in the back there? We've also had Kalamba with a kill over there. And just behind us, a Tamboiti thicket there, as Davi keeps swiveling around. There's another jackalberry in the distance. You're just going to see it right at the back there. There you go. You're starting to see it now, just where the aerial is. And that's where we had both Kalamba and Tingana, I think last year around this time, in a tree, fighting over a kill. So what I'm trying to show you is this drainage line here is very productive, and the leopards really are creatures of habit at the end of the day. They will always come back to the same places, really. And this is the perfect tree. Now, there's female leopard tracks being found on quarantine. Is it Kalamba? Is it not? We're not sure. But I think I'm going to scratch around this drainage for as long as I can. But if we really don't find her, we'll go on a bumble, and then we will come back again. Because if that kill is up there, it's going to attract the nostrils of someone. If Kalamba doesn't return, someone's going to come. Might even be a hyena who's not going to get access to it, but they'll still be drawn to the smell. Dark mane, maybe even another leopard. Kleptoparasitism means stealing from one another. And that's exactly what happens a lot here in winter. All the predators are stealing. I mean, wild dogs are not going to get up a tree. Hyenas are not going to get up a tree, but there's plenty of opportunity for the other predators to get up there. And I can smell it. We're down the embankment. We're looking up at the jackalberry, and I can smell that kill. It's wonderful. So if I can smell it, and my nose is a mere human nose, I can only imagine. I can only imagine that other predators will. Did you get that, Dove?
Yes, a question from Andy.
I have no comms in this little drainage.
Is it possible for hyenas to learn to climb?
Andy, is it possible? They would sure love to. I'm sure a hyena would absolutely love to learn to climb a tree. But their sort of anatomy wouldn't allow for that. They really haven't got the sort of unique physiology and sort of structure to climb trees. Their unique superpower lies in a different aspect. They're very, very front heavy, which is what gives hyenas that really funny, bizarre look. They've got a really elongated neck that's filled with incredibly powerful muscles. They haven't necessarily got the power in their shoulder blades. Their claws are also different. I'd actually liked... We did see Swazi try the other day. He tried so hard to get up the tree, but it didn't work. They're not built for climbing up trees, so I don't think they could ever get there, no matter how hard they try, Andy. I think we're just going to scratch around this drainage. She could just be sleeping. She'll come back, but the question is when. When will she come back? Kalamba likes to have pantries. She likes to have storage. I've got a kill there, good. I've got a kill there, good. She likes to be very busy. We all know that. Okay, Dov, let's see if we can move around in here. Luckily, you can move around in this drainage line. And you never know, we might see her. But I'm going to drive slowly because of the lack of light. And as I do that, we're going to send you guys over to Steve to say good morning.
Good morning, and welcome Eco-Training Prowlers, welcome to the Bushwalk team, where we are at the moment in a wonderful drainage line. Just having a little look around, see what's going on. We had an impala make a bit of noise a moment ago, but they've moved off. We couldn't find what might have alerted them. It might just have been us. Hello everybody, my name is Steve, joined by Paul on camera, and we are very excited to have you with us this morning on a very cold and wintry July morning, where the clouds are very, very thick and heavy overhead, and it is very low light. So it's not going to be the most ideal tracking conditions today, so we might show you a thing or two about some trees, if you like. Now, what is one of the nice ways of identifying trees when you don't have leaves? Well, that's quite easy, the bark. So over here, we've got our first tree for the morning, and you'll notice how dark it is, and it's sort of got little blocks of wood, quite fissured, dark brown, fissured bark. And whenever identifying trees as well, remember where we should identify an aspect of the tree is also where it's growing. And we're right here in a drainage line, and this particular tree has got a very nice association with water. And this very characteristic brown crocodile skin-like bark is very easily identified. I wonder if any of you out there can tell us what this tree might be. You thought it was going to be one of those easy mornings, did you? And I was going to give you all the answers. Well, not today. Today we're going to have a few tree quizzes. But then in the same time, we're going to be learning about the different barks that we find on the different trees. Water-loving, occurs in the drainage line, might be part of the euphorbia family. And it's not a leadwood. Leadwood's got a very similar sort of color, sort of shape to the bark, but leadwood's got the very grey crocodile skin bark. This one, quite characteristic in the way that it is designed, and very nice wood. The wood itself is very well used for furniture. It's been a favorite for making rifle stocks, and it's actually got a very nice smell to it. If you do break the wood, you give it a sniff. If you polish it up and you sand it down, be careful not to get any of that wood fibers in your eyes, because it has got a poisonous nature to it, but it's got a very nice smell. And the other name for it is called African sandalwood. Now, I wonder if anyone knows what the South African name that everybody calls this wonderful tree. Still got lots of leaves, and that is because it is in the drainage, because it's got access to water. But as it starts to lose its leaves, the leaves start to fall off, and they go a little bit of, they go sort of pinkish like this and fall off, and that's when a lot of the animals are able to eat it. Virgil says it's a crocodile tree. Well, Virgil, I suppose if that's how you're going to remember the name afterwards, very good, but it's not called a crocodile tree. The leaves, when they are alive, are green, like this. Not the best leaf in the world. Green, like this one. But when you pluck it off, here's a milky latex. That is why I said it's part of the euphorbia family. This tree is indeed poisonous, and that little drop right there in your digestive system could cause you to have huge amounts of problems with your day. You will purge yourself until you can't purge yourself anymore, and you will probably die. Let's not do that, shall we? But if you did happen to have a tooth that was very sore, you could put a drop, and it would kill the nerve. Princess Peach is not a jackalwood. We don't get jackalwoods here. We do get jackalberries. And jackalberries, we'll find you one and show you the difference. The jackalberry has got a very dark bark indeed, but normally at the bottom we get these sort of fluted sort of elements to them, and the leaves are very, very long. They do, in the young leaves, have nice red coloration, but not the ones that have fallen off the tree. This tree in autumn starts to go very, very red as the tree starts to lose moisture, as the water table drops. I don't think it's going to happen this year. Das. He has got it right. So those of you who might have come close and said the words Tambueti, you're 100% correct. And this is a wood that is very hard wood. It grows in these drainage lines. It's a very favoured wood for sort of furniture makers, but as I said before, it's quite poisonous, so be very careful working this wood. But can you see the crocodile skin darkness to this of the Tambueti? Spirostachys africana is the scientific name. And let's see what other trees we can find for you this morning.
Hi, I'm Dee from the south coast of England. Today I was told I have won the most amazing prize to go to Marataba. Oh, I can't believe it. I became hooked on WildEarth last year when I was trying to escape COVID, and animals are my thing. I just love them and I love what WildEarth does. So that's why I wanted to become an explorer. Just so looking forward to going out to Marataba. Want to do a walking safari. Thank you so much, WildEarth.
Sign up to be an explorer today, and it could be you jetting off on an all-expenses-paid-for safari experience. WildEarth Explorers. It's in your nature.
Hi, I'm Nikki, your guide here at andBeyond in Ngala. So my favorite animal in the African bush definitely has to be the zebra, because like people, with our fingerprints, every single zebra has a different stripe pattern. And, of course, a group of zebras together is called the dazzle. How unique is that? Come and join me or one of my colleagues here in Ngala for a sunrise and sunset safari on WildEarth.
This is a battle of two great carnivores of the African wilderness. Whew. Whoa! You don't want to be under those jaws. Definitely, this round goes to the lion. Look at that. Fantastic.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at andBeyond in Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through andBeyond in Ngala on WildEarth. Send me live questions through the WildEarth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush.
You'll never believe what happened. Swazi arrived on the scene. He's looking huge. He sniffed around the base of the jackalberry and he found... Swazi, you are covered in blood. And he found something, some impala body part. And he got it. I just ran with it. Swazi is growing. Swazi, dear, you need a shower. I'm going to quickly turn around, Dove. Oh, come on, Wendy, don't do this to me. Not now. There we go. He's going back to see if there's more. And this is exactly why hyenas do what they do. It obviously falling out of the carcass of the skeleton. And he got it. I don't know what it was. He's looking really big now. He's looking like an adult, to be honest, rather than a sub-adult. He retained on to that sort of sub-adult appearance for quite a while. He's lost the fluffiness. Many of you are saying, what a nice surprise. I know. Any time spent with Swazi is a joy for me. I just know this hyena extremely well. And you see, going back to Andy's question, if you look at his body outline, really, really powerful at the front and quite weak at the back. And this is intentional in design, if you like, and it's an energy-saving method of the body. So hyenas gallop, they do run, they do hunt by coursing, believe it or not, when they hunt, same as dogs. So if they were both really heavy at the front and heavy at the back, like a lion, they're not going to be able to hunt like that. So they need the power at the front to scavenge, but then they need to also sort of save energy somehow to be able to utilize that method of hunting. And the energy is saved by having quite a weak backside. Weak back legs. Not weak, but definitely nowhere near as much power and muscle as the front. I know it's not the best visuals, but he keeps moving. Here he comes. He's got something else. Now, Swazi was born sort of August, September 2018, so he's coming up for 3. And I'm wondering, will Swazi disperse? He could have really dispersed by now. Or is he just going to hang on to the NATO clan a little bit longer? I feel like he sees something. I don't see or hear anything. He's nervous. Hi, Swaz. Oh. Oh. My goodness, that happened seconds away from the car. Well, there's Kalamba, everybody. I thought Swazi was going to run into the car. He could hear her. Hello, girl. My heart's racing a little bit. I thought Swazi was going to come head first into the car and offer me some Impala delight. I don't want your Impala, Swaz. And the amazing thing about hyenas is that he knows it's a leopard kill. He can smell her. He's right there. Look, he's coming back for more. And he knows that the leopard could. He's using the car as a little bit of a shield. Hi, handsome. He's so bloody. Look at that ET, or it's almost like a CT now, just a little bit towards the bum dove. You see that? ET, phone home. That's how you know it's Swazi, if you're ever unsure. Spas, it was awesome. And I knew she would be here. We were circling, but I mean, if she's deep in the grass, would never find her. Swazi, he's picking up that thing that he dropped right next to the car. Look, he picked it up. And he's running. But that's why we were going to sit here. The visual wasn't great, the light's not great, but we thought, let's just sit here because she will be here. She's resting. And of course, Swazi rocked up. And now she's not a happy bunny. And this jackalberry is so old and so huge. Look at the width of the trunk. I'm not sure if you can hear this, everyone, but Swazi is crunching on what looks like a jawbone. You can hear it, isn't it delightful? Ah, she's up the tree, Dove. She's made it up. Well done, girl. That's the branch that she had her old kill on. I'm going to go forward a bit. We'll still be able to see Swaz and her. You happy with the stuff? Okay, he's not happy, everybody. Now? What about... No. Perfect. He's happy now, everyone. Whew, that was... I need my coffee now, everybody. I'm glad we didn't leave. Because I thought about leaving Bumbling and coming back, because it's not the most joyous thing, looking at a tree with a dead impala on a very overcast day. But it's always worth it. Just patience pays off. And of course, Swazi startled her into... She charged right out of the thicket at him. And he knew it. He knew she was coming. Did you see his behavior? He could hear her. He maybe couldn't see her, but he knew either the leopard's coming back or there's another hyena coming to steal what I have in my mouth right now. And you see, he kept looking. And she startled him, which made him run. But really, he's not scared of leopards, or at least not Kalamba. Kalamba's gorgeous, but she's very petite. She's small. Swazi's bigger than her, for sure, in terms of height and sort of chunkiness. Kalamba's longer, but she's slimmer and shorter. He's coming. Swaz, you really make me laugh. He just feels very familiar with vehicles. Winter's definitely working for Swaz. He's got that winter body on. I thought he was limping on his back right there, but he's not. He has got an injury, though. Did you get that name, Dov?
It was Obsidian.
Obsidian? You're like, of course. Swazi wouldn't abandon it, and you are 100% correct, of course. I think that's another reason I love hyenas so much. They're very stubborn. He knows there's a leopard around, and he's refusing to leave the area. Just in case there's another little bit of jawbone or a little bit of impala. Now, he's stashed another body part across the road on the other side of Gary Cut Line. Can you smell him? Yeah. Ooh, Swaz, you need a bath, boy. With lots of soap. You can smell that smell in camp long after he's walked past and immediately know Swazi has been in camp. Oh, what a morning. I am now going to call this in as Miss Kalamba relaxes in the jackalberry.
Right, so while Lauren's having a good morning, we're having a quiet morning. It's been obviously a bit of a messy start to our morning, but slowly bumbled towards Chitwa. No lion tracks that I can see on the southern boundary, but there is reports of the Talamati somewhere around Djuma, which we'll go to later. It's just lots of vehicles and chaos, and I just need to not be involved in that right now. Just sounds like it's a bit chaotic, so I'd rather just let them kind of carry on there, and once it quietens down, it doesn't sound like they're moving, so if they're not moving, it's not really an issue. So I wanted to just come to Chitwa quickly to see any signs of Tandi or Marips, see what they're up to, and if indeed they're kind of come back onto Chitwa. So far, I haven't seen anybody from the east, and I can't get anyone on the radio, so I don't know if they've had any sightings running this morning. So we're just going to bumble through and see what we find. Lots of tracks for hyenas, I'll tell you that much though. Alrighty, let's quickly just check along here and see if there's any sign of anything. If Tandi does come, if she comes from the north, she'll cut here somewhere. There's that game path behind that we just checked, and then there's a couple big game paths that are going to come out shortly that she likes to use as well. It comes down from the big marulas there this way. So we'll just quickly have a little look here. So far, just a hyena that's walking along. A couple impalas down towards the dam. Alright, I think what we're going to do is just go from here. We'll just cut slightly north towards where I had Marips last, see if maybe he's there, and then we'll cut back towards Djuma and the Telematis.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, just to touch again on a little bit of Tambuti, they're often found in these little clumps or groves. You'll see we've got four of them clumped right together like this, and the very characteristic straight stems that we have, even without leaves, very easy to identify. But have a look how someone has eaten it. Someone stripped the Tambuti off and eaten it. So they're not impossible to be fed upon, but you need to have quite a gut constitution to be able to survive. But at the back over here is a young Tambuti that we'll notice has got a very different type of bark when it's young. It's got this white blotchiness. It's a very similar, this bit here, to young guaris, but they grow in similar areas to guaris, but when you look around, or you look at the leaves, or you look at the stems, you notice quite a difference, because guaris are evergreen. The guaris are always got leaves. They never lose the leaves. You'll never find a guari branch like this without leaves unless it's dead. Okay, so we switch to my beautiful book over here that is quite helpful with regards to bark. Okay, so we've got different types of bark, coarse and fissured or ropey. Got all of these different ones here. None of the Tambuti fall under there. Go to rough and blotchy, and you'll find Tambuti here in the rough and blotchy. The darkness there versus the leadwood, a very similar sort of design, but the coloration quite different. Now, a couple of the others are waterberry and a bloodwood. I've never seen a big bloodwood before, and I've never seen a waterberry in this area. Ngala tree we find up in Pafuri, and the weeping boerbean, we can see some of those. So always nice to have a look at the different types of bark. We're going to see what else we can find along our walk. And just over here we found another one. Trees, thankfully, don't go away. We don't have to run after them. They don't hide. And here we've got one that is probably the easiest of them all to identify. You'll see once again, it's quite blotchy and coarse, fissured, but very easy to identify with these nodules on the end here, these little knobs. And this is a semi-mature one. When they're younger, they get a few more of those nodules on there, and quite an easy one to identify. I'm sure someone should be able to identify it for me very, very quickly. Very quickly, no doubt. A tree that loves clay-rich soil. It is a nitrogen fixer, part of the legume family. And we do find many of our large raptor birds living in these trees, and I can actually pull that off, that little extension of the bark there, and if I file that down, and sniff it. It's very good for clearing one's nasal passages and really, really opening up the nasal area. And apparently if you've got a blood nose as well, just stuff it in there. And it'll stop your nose bleeding. Raphael's got a knobthorn, very good, Raphael. There's no one like it, no one like it. And if we show you in the book here underneath another bark page, you'll notice that bark, rough with knobs and thorns, there's only one. We've got the immature knobthorn, and we've got a mature knobthorn. You don't always see the knobs on the taller, longer ones, or more mature ones, but see that very rough, fissured sort of bark there, much older. And when we close here and have a look at the young stem that's growing out over here, you'll notice the much more little knobs coming out over there. Acacia nigrescens, a tree that leopards are very rarely found in. Let's go see what tree Kalamba's hanging around at.
Well, we are looking at Kalamba and a jackalberry, that's for sure. But on the other side of the drainage, it is actually what we would call a tamboiti thicket, where it's just lots of tamboitis closely, sort of densely packed together right over there. It's actually really nice to walk in this drainage. We used to walk here when we did bushwalk. Walk in amongst the tamboitis. Especially when you get the jumping beans from the tamboitis that jump in your hand. I'm sure Steve can tell you all about that, but that is special. What else is special is asleep in Kalamba. Kalamba's been in quite a few battles lately with Shasha. And although it didn't quite go live, it was a physical battle. They charged each other a lot, but they actually had physical blows where she completely ran at him. She was a leopard on top, if that makes sense, and she walloped him right across the face. And they just tumbled after that. So generally speaking, leopards do avoid coming to blows like that, but with Kalamba it was very physical. And now she's just had to chase off dearest Swazi. And that's what I've noticed Kalamba does. She does sleep in trees. I mean, this jackalberry is the perfect sort of sleeping tree, but she sometimes leaves a kill if she's bored of being in a tree. I mean, it can't be comfortable for a long sleep. And she normally just rests somewhere in the long grass nearby. I knew she was there. And then, of course, Swazi must have woken her up, and she could see that he was getting something, and she just flew out and charged him like that. That was really special. Now, just to give you some context, we're on Gowrie Cutline. We're at the junction with Central, Gowrie Cutline Central, and it's the jackalberry we show you guys all the time, and we always say, oh, I wish there was a leopard up there. Well, there's a leopard up there, just to give you some context where we are. We're on the northern side of the reserve. Did you get that name down? Someone is saying, you're so glad she came back. Me too. I'm glad we didn't leave. I mean, there's only so much. Kugel, we'll go with Kugel. You're glad she came back. Me too. I mean, driving in the drainage in winter is actually fine, to be honest with you. It's so barren. You can see the potholes and the stumps and the logs. But in summer, it's not a good idea. I used to love walking in here. It's a very sort of open, it's a very northern part of the Mulwati. The Mulwati stretches all the way from Gowrie, Maine, and it sort of weaves and sort of snakes its way all the way to the top of the reserve. And this is in the very northern tip of the Mulwati dry riverbed. And you can pretty much drive right through it, actually. This part's really open, this part's easy. And then you can cross over to the other part that would take you to where Purple Eye's den was, where Tandy stashed Mareeves for quite some time when he was tiny. I've still got a photo of that. She actually used the same spot that Purple Eye used. Can you believe it? Same den side. But Mareeves was older then. It wasn't so much a den side, it was more a stashing place. And then it goes much, much further down until you come to the Wicks house. Mr. and Mrs. Wicks house. And then as you go even further down than that, you pop out at Twin Downs. Are you happy there's a little bit more light now, Dove? But I wouldn't be surprised if more hyenas come. Izzy, me too. It looks so comfortable up there. I can't imagine it is for a human. But I guess if you're a leopard, a thick, thick branch like that of a jackalberry. I mean, this tree dwarfs her. There must be such an old jackalberry with lots of secrets. Must have seen many a leopards in its time. I mean, normally we do sort of the most common tree we find leopards in are marulas. But this jackalberry just dwarfs her. And that's what she was doing in the grass. She was sleeping. She got disturbed by him, not by us, because we drove past. She got disturbed by him, Swazi. I know many people still have such a dislike for hyenas, but that's them. Accept them for who they are. Their biology is to scavenge as well as hunt. From the very, very bones of them, and I mean that literally, their skeleton is built and equipped to scavenge. That's why they're powerful at the front. So just accept them for who they are and the relationship they do have with leopards. In my opinion, it's a complete give and take. I'll never forget the sighting with Hosanna. I think it was Jamie and Craig, if I'm not wrong. And they were watching Pretty strut with that little Swazi's mum, actually. Strut, you know that hyena strut they have, all the way across quarantine with some ginormous piece of flesh in her mouth. To this day, I don't think they know exactly what it was. And Hosanna was there. And he spotted Pretty a mile away and he hid. And she was just strutting, you know, that swagger. Hosanna launched out of the thicket, very similar to what Kalamba just did now. And gave Pretty such a fright, she dropped the piece of flesh. Hosanna grabbed it immediately up a tree and Pretty lost her dinner. I'm sure some of you will remember that sighting. It was such a good sighting. It wasn't mine, it was Jamie's, but that just shows you leopards will also steal off hyenas when they can. It's just a very interesting relationship. Michael, I'm going to guess it's you, Michael Fleetwood. And I completely agree. Both Swaz and andBeyond, naturally they're twins. One's male, one's female. And I think they both look incredibly similar. I even get them muddled up sometimes until I get a closer look. And you're right, they really look like Pretty. Pretty was Pretty. Do you remember Pretty, Dove? Of course. He was such a great hyena. I was actually the last person to see her alive, and on WildEarth at least, and she wasn't in a good way. And we never saw her again, but luckily her legacy lives on in Swaz and andBeyond. If If you go to the Hyena Facebook page and search for Pretty, she was beautiful. She was best friends with Corks, very high ranked. But she sat underneath Cork. She was said sort of not to be at the top. I just loved her. I loved the name. Calling a hyena pretty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, everybody. Okay, I'm definitely not going anywhere. Davy and I are going to sit, have a coffee, and watch Kalamba sleep.
Hello, my name is Marnie Kell from the Greater Toronto Area of Ontario, Canada. I am most excited to meet some of the guides that I feel I already know. And I'm going to very much enjoy riding along with them to see what they see most days while they're broadcasting these safaris to us, while also staying at the beautiful Simbambili Lodge. WildEarth has brought so much to my life, and I am thrilled and grateful to have this opportunity. Thank you.
Sign up to be an explorer today, and it could be you jetting off on an all-expenses-paid-for safari experience. WildEarth Explorers. It's in your nature.
There's a grounding earthiness to this place that we feel in our ancestors. It's a place where, believe it or not, we evolved as a human species, and anyone who's come to Africa will understand that. The connectivity that the continent has to the person and to people's souls is next level. I'm thoroughly looking forward to taking you on your next adventure when we explore all the small and big things.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
Looks like it's a very difficult climb because every time it tries to climb, the ground is breaking, so it slides down. But it's the only one. Look at that. That is a call of desperation with a cub. It's like, what are you doing, mommy? Oops. Oh.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Hello, I'm Marna, your WildEarth Safari Guide from andBeyond Ngala. What I really like about connecting with WildEarth viewers is that we get to speak to viewers instantly, and I get to show you this beautiful property. If you want to ask me a question, register on the WildEarth website. Simply head over to the live safari page and you can submit your questions there. Join me or one of the other guides twice a day on WildEarth.
So we're still with Miss Kalamba, of course. She's actually positioned herself on the most perfect branch because her kill's on the other side. We can't actually view it from here, that impala. But Tristan's on a bit of a mission, as he always is. So we are just going to sit tight with Kalamba, and you'll sit tight with us for now. But boy, my heart was racing this morning. It's amazing over time how you really start to learn animal behavior. And the other day with Shasha, we arrived on the scene and I just watched Shasha's behavior, and I'm guessing that it wasn't his kill. But his behavior was telling me there's another leopard here. He is not going straight for that kill. He's sniffing, he's nervous. There's another leopard in the area, and lo and behold, Kalamba was there. So sometimes if you just stop, you're not always going to get it right, but just watch the animal, watch what it's doing. And Swazi knew she was there long before we did. Long before we did, but his behavior was giving her away. He knew she was there, he knew she was coming. We had discussions like this in Marataba as well. The animals are telling you everything. They're painting the picture for you. sometimes we're just not in tune enough to listen. Or we're choosing not to listen. They know, the francolins know everything. The hyenas know. The go-away birds know. Battaliers know. They're telling you. But sometimes we're just not in tune enough to listen to what the bush is telling us, and that's what you need to get better at out here. Open your mind and listen. The bush is telling you everything you need to know. From tracks to smells to signs to sounds. It's communicating with you. Pay more attention. And the other day with Mareebs, he was calling. His behavior was very erratic. He was looking for Tandy. And lo and behold, we bumped into Tandy, and the two of them were just looking for each other. The answers are very often there. It's just whether we see them or not, or whether we hear them. Yesterday we found Kalamba, or was it the day before? Because of the alarm calls. We heard alarm calls, something's there. Luckily we know that drainage pretty well. Someone's tired. Luckily, we know that drainage very well. I know it a little bit too well, but we won't go into that story because it's rather embarrassing. And I know which way a leopard's going to go. So put together your knowledge. Got alarm calls. Where's the alarm calls coming from? Oh. Did it really just happen? Did Kalamba really just run away? She didn't walk away. Kalamba ran there. Okay. Well, let's go see if we can find her then. Are you ready, Dove? Kalamba loves to keep people on their tippy toes. There's another vehicle here, as you can see. Should we check this side? Yeah, we're going to check this side. I can't see Swaz anymore. He's obviously had his fill, and he's on to the next one. Kalamba. Tingana would never do that. But Miss Kalamba, what are you thinking, Dove? Go to the end. So this is a junction up here. You're about to see the junction. This is a junction of Central and Gowrie Cut Line. Dove.
Yeah.
Just to give you an indication of where you are. I'll show you on the map in just a bit, but I know many of you like to know exactly where we are. Okay, now we listen. Okay, I'm very much hoping that we catch up with our princess again, but it is Kalamba. So for now, over to Steve.
Welcome back to Providence, where we're just showing you another example of a very knobbly acacia that has been quite badly damaged by elephants, but no doubt it will survive. Easily see in the young acacias, the young knob thorns, how many knobs there are. And the exact purpose of them is possibly to prevent elephants pushing their head against them and breaking them. Doesn't seem to work very well in the case of this one, but I can't think of any other reasons why they would have these really large protrusions on the end of the bark. Prevent things from climbing? I'm not really sure. Difficult to say. But we've got another tree over here, a tree that's got a very nice bark. And when we get close up to it, you notice that the bark, although this one's in full leaf, it makes it quite easy to identify. But we're doing bark today. You notice how rough and dark brown and sort of quite fissured the lines are in this bark. And I don't know if anyone's going to be able to guess it, but it's okay. It's difficult to guess just through a bark picture. Some trees are easier than others, but having a look at the coloration of the bark, having a look at it with the leaves will make it very easy. But today about leaves, not about leaves, about stems and bark. When I lived down in the garden route, when I was doing my studies in the forests, how people identify trees in forests is essentially by the bark. They can't see the leaves. The leaves are too high up, so they have to learn how to study exactly what the bark is to find a tree. So we'll turn to this page, and we said quite coarse and fissured. We can go through the acacia, the river acacia, no. Definitely not a silver cluster leaf. Wild pear, no. Buffalo thorn is a little bit grayer. Umbrella thorn acacia, no, it's not him. But you can see there's a few that look quite similar. But when we keep going down, hang on, that one looks quite similar, doesn't it? Let's see that in comparison. That looks almost identical. And when we have a look at it, indeed, the tree Wisteria Bolanthus speciosa. But you can see by just having a look at this page, you'll be able to see, okay, tree Wisteria, we can go to page 108, we can double check it is indeed the tree Wisteria. And the tree Wisteria has got these very characteristic leaf-like structures, these compound leaves that end with a terminal leaflet. The wood is highly sought after. It's also in Afrikaans known as vanwykshout. It is very, very strong, durable wood used for furniture. It was used for fence posts and axe handles, but they don't get very big anymore. They're very slow growing, so very hard wood, but it was very well utilized during the the Great Trek and many, many years ago by the Boers when they were building things, and very hard, durable wood. Vanwykshout, very, very good. Very useful, termite resistant, in fact, which makes it quite a useful plant, especially when you're building a fence. Decoctions of the roots have been used as an emetic and also for abdominal pain. An emetic is to cause you to basically vomit everything you have. Decoctions of the leaves, helping with stomach flu, as well as food poisoning if you ever find yourself in such an ailment. And dried bark, inner bark, has been used to relieve abdominal pain and cramps. So Jessie Lou books on tree identification, the Sapi version of trees below, the Sapi Low Felt Tree Spotters, very, very good books. Very hard to get hold of them, though. They're not in print anymore. Maybe they'll bring out another one. But I like it because it's very basic. It gives you the bark, gives you the leaves, gives you lots of different ideas of where to look for trees. Some of the tree books I've seen are very big, very cumbersome, and they don't really give you as much information as you'd like to. What's very important, what does a tree look like? Where does it grow? Can you break it down into many different factors? And the book I use shows you pods, it shows you leaves, it shows you bark, and you can also look at trees by habitat, so you don't have to be an expert. And where are we? We're in a drainage depression right over here. Still from before, we haven't gone very far, and this is another tree that likes to grow in a deep area, hence why it's still got leaves this late into the year.
Right, so we're just sitting at the moment, just listening. We had some Franklin's alarm calling, and so we're just sitting and listening. So we invite you to sit along with us, and just have a listen, and see if we can't pick up any sign of anything. It's interesting how much you can hear when you sit quietly like this. The woodpecker, doves, you can hear fork-tailed drongo, you can hear impalas in the distance, which sounds like just a rat more than anything else. There's a starling that's come out onto the road. It's actually incredible how many sounds there actually are out here. Very cool. Alright, we'll probably carry on, try and see what else we can find. Hopefully we'll have some luck in the area. We'll be able to pick up the animals that we're looking for.
We're trying to locate her, everyone. Just bear with me. We're working hard with SIPs to try and relocate where she's gone. She's just in here, but I don't think the visual's very great. She's gone flat in the long grass, which is exactly what she was doing when we first arrived. Take us a little bit to relocate her. There's another vehicle on the other side, so I'm not going to bombard over there right now. Copy, I'm coming that way. Thanks, Sibs. I think she's on the other side, so we just need to reposition. It's amazing how easy you lose Kalamba. She just hops, skips and jumps and she's gone. Okay, we're just going to reposition. It's just going to take us a little bit, but we are going to send you back over to Steve and a treat.
Yes, she is a slippery, slippery cat. Welcome back, everybody. Well, we're keeping up with our bark and trees this morning, and we've got another very nice tree. And once again, we are still in the drainage system. But this is a tree that is a very good indicator of water. And if we have a look at the bark here, I mean, there's a couple of little marks on there, but it's pretty smooth for the most part. There's only really 2 trees that have got such smooth bark, maybe 3. 2 of them are figs, and one of them is not a fig. And there's this one here. So quite smooth, a couple of blotches on there, but for the most part, the bark is very, very smooth. So if we flip open to our bark page, go and have a look at the relatively smooth page. We'll see that there's a fever tree, it's not that. The tell mahogany has got a very different coloration. Got the sycamore fig, and then we've got this nice sort of whitish color over here, the apple leaf. And indeed, this one is the apple leaf, very easily identified by the bark. But another thing that makes it quite easy to identify is the way it grows. So when we look up at an apple leaf, it's always sort of moving in a sort of direction, because elephants, these obviously occur quite close to water, and they're always being rubbed and scratched and pushed. And so the tree kind of gets this very, very interesting dance-like movement to its growth pattern because of the way that animals interact with it. And if you just have a listen to us walking around, It's impossible to sneak up on an animal with these leaves. Have a listen. Everybody close your eyes. Put your kudu ears on and listen. Did that sound like an apple crunching? Those of you who weren't ready, let's try that again. Close your eyes. Put your kudu ears on. Apple leaf. What a wonderful tree. A tree that is also used, the roots, for treating diarrhea. It's also noticed, commonly known as the rain tree, the apple leaf. There's a beetle that lives on this tree that sucks, like an aphid-like beetle that sucks the sap out. And I've never experienced it, to be honest, but apparently they pull so much sap out that they start to leak the sap out of their bottom, and it feels like it's raining. Not cats and dogs, but beetle juice. Excessive sap. So the apple leaves are very good indicators of water. If you did happen to want to put in a borehole or a pump somewhere on a farm, somewhere on a property, follow the line of the apple leaves and they'll give you a very good indication of where to find water. If you find them a little bit further up the slope, I can guarantee you they tapped into a termite mound, and that's how they got access. Apple leaf in some cultures in South Africa regarded as very bad luck to cut down one of these trees to use it. But then in Botswana, they cut them down and make them into makoros, which is like a canoe. So it depends on what culture you belong to, which means you're going to either sink or swim.
We found her. This is Miss Kalamba. She doesn't want to be sleeping in a tree. She wants to be on the ground. She wants to be grounded. Now I'm all torn. The Talamatis are also on Djuma, and I want to see them. Kalamba's here. Tristan's on his own little mission. I will not say anything about that just yet. And too much is happening. So I think we'll spend a little bit longer with Kalamba. But if she just falls asleep in the grass, then we may just bumble on quickly to catch up with the Talamatis. Do you hear something, Tav? No. I don't know if the new generation of the Talamatis are here. I don't think so, but still, we'll go and catch up with them. This is what happens, everyone. Welcome to the bush. You have some very few quiet days where absolutely nothing happens whatsoever. And then, lo and behold, everything happens at once. And that kill is absolutely ponging. My goodness. It's not nice. I think that impala's been up there for quite a few days now. And she's quite far from the jackalberry, but she's line of sight with it. And obviously line of hearing, if that makes sense. Like, she's moved, but she's not too far, which means if another leopard comes, a hyena comes, she'll know immediately. You are quite the little fireball, Kalamba.
Danny girl.
Danny girl. Sorry, I'm just going to try and reposition my radio. They met up recently. When was it? It was when I had Sergio here. Don's husband, and he was on drive with me. Tandy caught a diker that morning. And she hoisted it up a jackalberry, believe it or not, in the Mulwati, but on the little Gowrie side, so on the southern side. And lo and behold, Mareebs came later to join Tandy, and Kalamba joined. She had a big fight with Mareebs. They were tumbling, and I think she stole the kill. Tandy and Kalamba know exactly who each other are, but unfortunately, although they're related, they're also competitors. So it's definitely not a fond reunion, shall we say. They know each other. It's most likely that relatives in leopards will not fight like what happened with Kalamba and Shasha. They'll snarl, they'll salivate, but really, I don't think it would be the case that they would come to physical blows. But they're both territory holders. They're both independent, territorial females. It's not going to be a fond interaction, I'm afraid. Tandy's focus right now is, of course, Mareeb's. Have you had a busy night, dearest Kalamba? I feel like you have. It's actually a really nice visual. Toby, no. It is not a pleasant smell for us, but the leopards, the lions, the hyenas, they really don't seem fazed by the pong. It's very unpleasant. No, it definitely doesn't put them off. But I mean, they're used to it, I guess. Maybe it's even delicious for them. We don't know how they perceive things, really, so maybe that smell for them in their own little phenomenology bubble is delicious. But for humans, it's definitely not. It's really not pleasant. It smells exactly like it says on the tin. Putrid, old flesh. It smells like exactly that. I don't really know what to do. I don't want to miss anything with Kalamba, but I also want to see the Talamatis. Choices. Okay, we're going to sit here, both Davi and I, and decide exactly what we're going to do next.
Suspended above Kenya's Masai Mara is a breathtaking lodge where unrivaled service goes hand in hand with extraordinary wildlife sightings. Ngama Mara offers a quiet place where guests have the opportunity to reconnect with the world again. Sign up to be a WildEarth Explorer before the end of July, and you and a friend could win a 3-night stay at this award-winning lodge. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature.
The importance of forests cannot be underestimated. Over 1 billion people live in and around forests, depending on them for fuel, food, medicine, and building materials. The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, is the national implementer for a program called LEAF. The LEAF program makes use of indigenous forests grown on school properties to teach pupils about biodiversity. This directly instills a sense of ownership of the natural surroundings and reconnects children with our biomes and heritage. WESA needs your help to bring nature back to schools. Ask your school to join the program through the link on their website. Together with WESA, you can help take this incredible program to schools across the country.
Okay, there's another big male coming in from our left here. Another big male, look at this. This is the one. Now you're going to see sparks fly, guys. Guys, it doesn't get better than this, eh? Yes, unbelievable. Africa, I love you, eh?
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Oh, we're live. Hello, everybody. Kalamba is in the deepest of sleeps. Look at her belly rising and falling like that. You can see she's really asleep. So I think we're just going to stay with her a few seconds more. And then join the Talamatis, just to say hi, just to check in. And then we may even come back to Kalamba. I don't think it's all the Talamatis, but we don't know until we find out. I wonder if Darkmane is with them. Oh, Darkmane. I hope he's with them. I don't like it when he's looking for them. Just the other day when Mareeves and Tandy were looking for each other and they couldn't find each other, and yet we knew, we had that knowledge. Oh. Just makes you feel a little bit sad. But of course, they found each other. It just takes time.
Link Tristan. Link Tristan.
Oh, sorry, I've got no comms, but for now, over to Tristan.
Well, the best possible surprise is Mareeps and Tandy, and his paw is absolutely fine. It doesn't even look like he was bitten by a snake. He's full of beans this morning. He's got a full tummy. His paw is absolutely perfect. It's ridiculous. I can't believe how well he's healed from this. And it just goes to show they must have a serious resistance to the venom of snakes, because he's not even got, I mean, there's no necrosis, there's no nothing. Either that or he didn't get a massive envenomation, one of the two. But either way, how epic to see these two together walking. And it looks like he's got a fat tummy, so it looks like he's been eating. She doesn't look like she's eaten, but the fact that she's walking with him and they're marching tends to tell me that maybe there's a kill somewhere that she's got that she's taking him to. But he's definitely eaten since we've seen him with the puff at a bite. Like I say, his leg is absolutely fine. He doesn't have any issues. He's walking fine. It's still a little swollen, and there's a slight bit of kind of a limp. If you look at it when he walks, it's a little bit swollen, but it's not bad at all. Look at him. He's running like a hooligan that he can be. Isn't that insane? I think it's amazing. I think people are going to be blown away by the fact that he's like this. All right, so I'm going to try to catch up with them. The signal is a little bit tricky in this area, so I do apologize if there is a little bit of breakup. But hopefully we're going to get a situation where, it will stay and get stronger. It should get stronger because we're driving towards the mast the whole time, which is good. It's so epic to see him. I'm so excited. Hey. He's such a little champion, because there's all the things that have been going on have been tricky. It's been from the puff at a bite to the tracks of the lions to not knowing how he's been. It's things that could all potentially go wrong. So the fact that he's busy and he's running and he's with his mom and he's doing his thing is amazing to me. I think it's an incredible thing to see how resilient a leopard actually is. We always think that as humans we would have a tough time. We just find it's to be that way, because otherwise things like puff adders would be a big problem for them. Cubs in general are going to go after puff adders all the time, so they would have to have some semblance of resistance to them. And I'm just going to come down here and we'll get them kind of walking towards us. He's exploring, he's up and down, he climbed a tree just now. What's he got? He's got something, he's caught something. He's just got something. A monitor lizard, look. Look at the size of the monitor lizard he just caught. How crazy is that? Oh no. That's ridiculous. Hold on, let's just get a bit closer, Morgan. Because the two of them are doing it together, which is you don't ever hear of, is when leopards hunt. Look, they're fighting over it. Look, he's away from him, and she's running with it. That's ridiculous. How cool is that? That's insane. It's not every day that you're going to see that. Sorry, Morgan, I'll try and catch up with her. But it will still be alive at the... It's not going to be yet, I think. She's just rooted away from him.
See everyone, what a great morning it's been. My Reeves is absolutely fine, just like we said he would be. Really important that you let nature take its course, everyone. Really important. Now my Reeves has learned. Now he has that knowledge, now he has that experience of sort of puff adders or snakes in general. It's really important you just be patient. I'm very, very happy Tristan is with them. We're still with Kalamba. It's hard to leave a cute sleeping leopard, but we are going to bumble to the Talamatis, see if we can get some space in that sighting and catch up with them. I knew they were going to pop down onto Djuma, and they have, but I'm not entirely sure it's the lionesses with cubs. But let's go and see. Station with the Talamatis coming for Lauren.
Yeah, 2 station. You're welcome.
Thanks, Obs. I'm making my way. We're going to leave Kalamba. She's sleeping on open lock.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, Princess. We're going to come and see you in just a little bit. But for now, we're going to go and visit your enemies. Okay, I'm just going to mark this. Buffalo thorn opposite the knob thorn. She's right there. I'll take that off. Thank you. They're actually not very far away from each other. I believe the Talamatis are on Vulture's Nest. So really, they're Kalamba right now. She's really not far away from them. Okay, I'm on my way to see the Talamatis, and you guys, back to Tristan. Okay, you're not back with Tristan, you are back with us. I think he's in a tricky signal spot, but he really just wanted to show you Mareeves and Tandy naturally. He was on a big mission this morning. You can still smell that kill. Ooh. The Talamatis get mobile and come this way, they'll also be able to smell it. But I have a funny feeling they're sleeping.
but like, yes, I think that's probably the males from the farming ground.
I think they're just down this first road, but I may need to get on that radio and find out. Okay, we're going to keep bumbling, and hopefully the next time you see us, we'll be with the Talamartis. Bear with us, everyone. We are trying to locate a pride of lions, known as the Talamartis. But we've just got to try and get into the sighting.
Okay.
I think they're just here.
Am I going? What do I? On the line up on the got it.
Okay, I'm going to try and find these lions, and we're going to send you guys over to Tristan.
Well, we've caught up with Thandi. She's about, I think, to hoist this kill. I don't think it's going to be much longer. She's hissing and growling at Mareeps. Even though he made this kill, she wants it for herself. So his poor boy is in this situation. Alright, so he's just... Sorry about the few technical glitches, but she's just starting to open up the monitor lizard now. She's snarling at him because he kind of obviously wants some, but he's got his little fat tummy already, so I think she's hungry. So she's starting to eat it now. But wasn't that the most insane thing? Just listen to her opening up this monitor. All right, I'll wait. Well, how crazy was that, everybody? I know we had a few little glitches in amongst all of that, but hopefully we got to see most of it. But it's so crazy because he was walking along and he just grabbed it and then they fought over it, and then Thandi kind of took it and she's marched it all the way up to one of her favorite trees. I've seen her hoist 3 different kills in this tree before, so she likes using. Look, the tail's still moving. Look, isn't that crazy? So the monitor, I think, was playing dead, and she's now opening it up and eating it, and maybe it's still alive. That's absolutely crazy. Monitors are known for being incredibly strong animals. So for those of you that are a little bit squeamish and don't like to see things dying, then probably this is not a sighting for you, because I think it's going to move a little bit still. You'll see the tail will go up and down. It's crazy. Insane sighting though. And what a welcome back for Mareeps, after all the worry and everybody kind of being concerned and no one really knowing what the ability is for him to recover from that, and with lion tracks in the area and all of those kinds of things. It's pretty insane to see him grabbing a monitor lizard and climbing and just being generally all over the place. He's definitely been eating, so either Thandi found him day one and kind of got him finding nothing is even so massive. The venom. No doubt that he was envenomated. The paw doesn't react like that for any other reason. So, it's just the body is somehow able to work out that venom and to deal with it without massive amounts of necrosis, which is fascinating. It was equally fascinating and sort of dumbfounding in many respects. I mean, it's just crazy. I can't actually believe he looks as good as he does. And then to have a sighting like this, kind of as a sort of welcome back to being okay, is ridiculous. Now, I'm sorry that we've got a few tech issues, so we're going to try and see if we can sort them out. In the meantime, let's send you across to Steve.
I'm not sure about what's going on there. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about technical difficulties there. I'm a bit confused myself right now, where we are, and I think you're with us now. Hello. Good morning. We found another tree. This one, a little bit easier to identify. You'll be able to notice. Yay, you're with us this time. We had a bit of a moment there where we were live. We thought we were, we weren't, and then I wasn't quite sure what I was saying. Anyway, here we got a very nice tree. You can see how the bark is very flaky. It's got this orangey coloration to it. And when it peels off in these long brown sort of threads to reveal a very sort of yellowy bark underneath. And if you keep going up the stem, you'll notice these very long white thorns. I wonder if any of you are able to identify this for me. I've kind of given it away already. Let's see if anybody knows what tree this is. So it doesn't get much taller than 3 meters. It's not the tallest of trees that we do find around, but the roots can actually be chopped out and cooked, very similar to that of a sweet potato. And animals love to feed on it. The pods are fed upon by many monkeys, many birds, elephants, kudu, and inyala, and impala, of course. But the wood's not very, very hard. It is a tree that definitely does encroach, and it does move into areas as an encroaching species. Obviously, it doesn't like fire, so if an area has been overutilized, this tree definitely does move in and take over. So I wonder if any of you can guess what tree it might be, and then we'll go and consult the book. But very easy to identify by the bark, the very flaky nature of it. And because of these thorns, and the fact it doesn't get very big, it's not highly sought after as a gardening plant, because it's quite painful and uncomfortable underfoot if the leaves and branches do fall onto the ground. Rochelle is right on the money. Very easy. Probably one of the easiest plants to identify. And let's double check before we give Rochelle's answer. Let's go and have a look. Now, what did we say? We said flaky, didn't we? So let's go smooth and flaky with spines or thorns. And out of the 3 there, very simply put on the right, flaky bark acacia, Acacia exuvialis. And it's very characteristic with that shape of the coloration, and they don't get very big, as I said before. So very, very well done, Rochelle, for getting the flaky bark acacia. One of the easier ones out here to find, but a nice one as well. And who doesn't like sweet potato? Maybe not for breakfast, but definitely for lunch or dinner. But what do we know about roots and the harvesting of roots? We know the unsustainability of harvesting roots. But seeing as this tree is an encroaching species, it does move into areas and take over, could be harvested. Rather than just chopping them down, we could actually dig them out of the ground, use that stem and lay it down for brush packing, so as to protect an area that has been overgrazed. So if this area was overgrazed, we could remove the entire tree, cut off the root, throw that to the sweet potato pile, lay the branches down, and allow the grass vegetation to start recovering underneath. A very nice technology called brush packing, something that elephants do all the time in their structural changes in the landscape. We just have to have a look at this tree over here. Talk about brush packing. Look how the vegetation's growing. And that's not even a spiny tree. That's just a tree pushed over, allowing the vegetation to grow back. So very useful technology. Very well used in conservation management. Doesn't always look pretty initially, but then neither does a naked area denuded, causing erosion and the loss of soil. Okay, well, let's go back over to Lauren to see if she's had any luck with the Talamati Pride.
They've all got mobile, I'm afraid. There's just one sub-adult male left behind. They've all got up and they're walking in the direction of Central. So I think what we're going to do in just a moment is actually go and follow them. Because if they reach Central and they start moving west, they're going to come to Kalamba's kill site. Now don't panic, everyone. It might not happen. Oh, I've got these guys playing over here. Sorry, Dobby. They're having a tussle. But we are going to follow them. They're on the move. I'm not sure. Do you think I can get through here? Yep, okay. We've seen you guys. What are you doing? They're wakening up. That's what they're doing. Hello, ladies and gent. Oh, now they're acting like they weren't doing anything, but we saw you. They're all getting mobile now, one by one. Look at that mini mane. The Talamati sub-adult males are glorious. There's 3 of them, and they are just really stunning boys. You can see there's sort of hair growing in under their chin. Hello, boy. I feel like it's raining cats today. Now, I think this is one of the females over here because we've seen all the sub-adults. I think we should maybe go and catch up with the rest of the pride just in case they start getting really mobile and head that way. Travis, a buffalo thorn. My goodness, lions and Kalamba. Sub-adult males still watching us. What is it? Why are you still watching us? Huh? Oh. What is it, boy? We all know you're handsome. Toilet time. Okay, fabulous. Right, we're going to keep moving. Okay, we're going to loop round and catch up with the Talamatis from the other side, and you guys are going to catch up with Tristan.
Well, while Lauren keeps up with the Talamatis, hopefully we've sorted out all of our issues and we can sit and enjoy these 2 years of just complete chaos there for a second. But awesome to see, that they've managed to A, join up, B, that Marips is obviously healthy and happy and full-tummied and seemingly unaffected by his little venom encounter. C, that he's made the kill. Well, grabbed the monitor. I think Tony was the one that actually killed it. And then, kind of the cherry on the top is that we now have sorted out everything, and hopefully you guys will be able to enjoy it with us. It's such a cool moment to kind of see. Obviously, it's sad that a monitor lizard has died, particularly an old monitor like this. This would be a breeding individual. The thing is, though, is while Marips, and just obviously had a few reptiles lately, but that was completely the most kind of opportunistic thing, and that's what makes leopards so insanely efficient and ability to survive, is that they have this ability to take any opportunity that presents themselves. The conditions yesterday and today are cold, they're overcast, and therefore it makes monitor lizards incredibly sluggish. If it had been a hot morning, that monitor would have put up a way bigger fight. I think the problem is that this body of this animal is in such a slow state because of how cold it is. It has no ability to fight and use a lot of energy, and so he can grab it, and then Tandy could come and kind of just break it, and before the monitor could even get any sort of energy going to actually try and fight it off. In cold weather like this, reptiles really struggle, and they go into a phase where their just kind of whole body just is sluggish and slow, and they've taken advantage of that. And so obviously, as Marips went round the mound, he must have spotted it just sitting on the edge, probably trying to hide in the termite mound for warmth. Remember that termite mounds are very good at insulating temperature, and so often monitors will go in there. And so this monitor, being an old, experienced monitor, would have probably gone in there in order to try and just kind of settle down and stay at least a little bit warm. And he's obviously spotted it and then just taken the opportunity, grabbed it. And as he grabbed it, obviously Mom ran in, and there was that point there where the two of them were kind of twisting with it at one point. That was just insane, because remember, leopards don't cooperatively hunt. They're not animals that will both grab a prey animal at the same time. The only time you ever see it is if Mom grabs something and is still trying to kill it, and the cub comes and like paws at it. But there at one point, both individuals had it in their mouth and were pulling, which is super crazy. It was almost like wild dogs at a kill, but with leopards, and that kind of thing is incredibly rare. So to see, him taking a massive monitor like this, and then also just the two of them kind of trying to kill it at the same time, is a pretty epic sighting. This tail's still moving of this monitor. I don't know if she's hitting a nerve or something when she's eating that's causing a reflex of the tail to twitch. There will be still some responsiveness within that monitor. But yeah, crazy thing to see. That's for sure. I see the blood all over her mouth. This will be a good meal. It's not a small animal. This. It will not be obviously something like a big impala, but it most certainly will be enough food for Tandy to fill her tummy. Like I say, Marips doesn't have to worry as much because little Prince in the background has got a little fat tummy. Yes, we're talking about you. He's got a nice big fat tummy. So he doesn't have to worry about him so much. She'll get a really good feed, and then he'll be able to finish up what's left. It's very common with leopards that when they do have kills that they won't eat at the same time. Unlike lions, if this had been lions, it would have been a free-for-all. Both would have attacked it or would be eating at the same time, and they'd fight over it. But with leopard, what you find is that they are quite sort of well-mannered when it comes to the table. Each one has its own turn, and as soon as she stops feeding, he'll come in and feed. And this carcass won't be here this afternoon. I'm pretty sure they'll have finished this by the afternoon. Between the two of them, they'll have eaten a fair amount. But what an epic way to make a comeback, Marips. Wild woman, you say that Marips has a thing for reptiles. Well, all young leopards do. If you think of Hosanna and Shongile when they lost their mum, they survived quite heavily off monitor lizards, terrapins. They were able to kind of find things, and snakes. It's much easier than hunting down impalas for a lot of the time, particularly slow, sluggish animals in cold days like this. As you start to hone your experience and you start to figure out how you do things, reptiles provide the perfect opportunity for learning. So it's a phase of his life where he will go through this, and it's good though. It's good that we're seeing him starting to understand where food is and how to get food, and to be able to get it for himself, because the time with Mom is not going to be that much longer. Even though he's had this little injury, and obviously she's looked after him, because there's no ways he can have a tummy like that. Well, maybe he can. Maybe he's been processing this venom and it processed out pretty quickly, and he's been hunting himself. But that tummy is massive. So whatever has happened is he's eaten well last night. And so, the time is when she starts to see him being able to be fully efficient, the pressure then starts to pull off her, and she can start to go and do her own thing and be able to, find her own food, and potentially that would be tight, but potentially even maybe have another set of cubs. I'm not sure it's going to be possible, but you never know with Tandini, and maybe that's why she's hanging on to Mareep slightly longer than she generally does with her cubs. It's because her body no longer has that drive to go and mate again. I don't know, but let's see. She's approaching 15 in December. And so when she hits 15, generally most leopard moms are done by then, because if you think about it, if she does have a cub, she'll need to be almost 17 to raise that leopard to adulthood, which for a female leopard, while it isn't ancient, it is old, and it will become increasingly more difficult, particularly if she has, you never know, she could have 3 cubs or 2 cubs, and raising that as a 17-year-old leopard is not easy. Look at this clown in the background. Can you see him all right, Morgan? Yeah. He's just he's another story, this cat. The best kind of story, but I mean, who lies like that? This is the mongoose, but just on your back, with paws. But look at the size of his tummy as well. It almost looks like a football. He's got this round tummy. I'm so happy to see him like this. A lot of people were worried about him, and this is a prime example of why we don't interfere. If this cat had to have been darted and treated, and we've then put him under undue stress, we could also get to the point where he then no longer trusts people, and we wouldn't be able to have decent sightings of him. If you look at what happened with Sindile, and how skittish that made him, that whole ordeal of being treated by people, and I know that was a long-term treatment, but this kind of thing, when you see how animals can respond in the wild to adversity, it makes you realize that we don't always have to interfere. I think we as people have this idea that we need to always fix everything. We need to understand that animals out here have lived for hundreds of thousands of years and coexisted and found ways to survive. And if they don't, that's part of nature's way of getting a stronger ecosystem. If we keep tampering and keep interfering at any moment's notice because we ourselves can't process and can't cognitively understand that animals live and coexist, and sometimes that's going to lead to death, and sometimes it's not. And we're so quick to always interfere. All we're doing is meddling and sorting, creating potential issues for an animal. Like I say, in this regard, we left him alone. We let him heal. We let him do his own thing, and that relax. I think letting him relax and doing all of those kinds of things has probably helped with him being able to heal. And now look at him, he's absolutely fine, which is absolutely amazing for all of us. So I'm super glad to see him like this. And like I say, it's a good lesson for us all.
My name is Trishala, and I am a naturalist and safari guide here in Djuma Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands in South Africa. I think that the information that we provide, and most importantly the questions that you ask, give both you and I a really good idea of what's going on. My friend Fernando here, he's a flat-necked chameleon, and I love them. They're just these gems that you manage to find in the bush.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
I've seen something I've never seen here before. Look at these cubs. One is crossing the river. It's being washed away, unfortunately, but I'm sure the mother is going to save her. Look at that. How beautiful. Look at that. One crossing, 2 to go. How cool is this?
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth Daily.
My name is Lauren, and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me, and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
Welcome back to Pridelands, everybody, where this gloomy morning, gloomy clouds and cool weather hopefully does something to what's going on in South Africa at the moment. As I give this tree a little hug, there's craziness happening in KZN and Johannesburg. And my thoughts go out to all of those affected, all the animals and people and families and businesses that are being affected at this very interesting time in South African history. So my hug goes out to all of you and to this beautiful tree that is easily identified and is a very iconic South African tree, one that you all know very well. You should anyway. We see it all the time. We talk about it all the time. And what's very easy to identify about it, obviously it's quite a decent sized tree, but look at the pock marks. It almost, I like to describe it as someone has taken a golf ball and has hit it against this tree many, many times, and it leaves that sort of rough, fissured, pock-marked sort of feel to it. And I wonder if there are any of you out there that are watching that can identify this tree for me. I'm sure it is going to come through multitudes of answers. We keep following up on a Franklin alarm calling. There's a leopard around here, but we haven't managed to see it yet. It's not like Djuma that the leopards are very relaxed. Here the leopards are going through a slow habituation process, and they are being seen with a vehicle, but not on foot. Okay, so Bobby Blue has got the answer correct. If we just look over my shoulder, you'll be able to see another one. They got a very characteristic design from afar, with a mushroom-like sort of appearance, and the tips of the branches are very sort of fat fingery. Nice fat fingers, the big ones at the back. And boy, you see them, the big ones. And indeed, Bobby Blue has said a marula, and very easy to identify a marula by the shape and design and the pock-marked bark that we have here. And let's go and consult the book, shall we? Okay, so rough, peeling, and flaky. Rough, peeling, and flaky. And we have a look over here. Not the red bush willow. The false marula has got flaky bits as well, but I like to think of them as strips of bacon because they're much longer and they actually peel off like a bit of crispy bacon would, whereas have a look at the marula here with those little pock marks, as if someone has been hitting golf balls against them. And indeed the marula, the marriage tree, the very traditionally famous tree here in South Africa. We also make world-renowned amarula cream out of it, which goes very nice with ice cream or just as a nice drink in the mornings. It goes very well with coffee, amarula coffee. If you've never had that, come out onto safari and it will be served, I'm sure. Back in the day when I did used to drink, it was a very nice beverage in the morning. And Paul, do you like amarula? And Paul likes amarula. Who doesn't like a bit of coffee in the morning? I think we might go have a break, have some coffee, while we send you back over to Tristan. There's wonderful cat sighting.
Well, while Steve has a coffee, we're still with our two cats. And look at this cat. I love when cats look quizzically up like that. He's so cool, this cat. I'm glad for him being all right. It's a worry, you know, and it's difficult because it's hard when, you know, you have what we do out here, particularly to quite a large audience. It's hard to be the one that kind of remains hopeful all the time and always tries to kind of balance this sort of knowledge of the fact that it could potentially hurt him and that it's not, and, you know, people worry and you kind of try and give people as much hope as you can, but at the same time you know that there's a harshness to nature, that things can go wrong So it's been a kind of stressful couple of days, and like I said, I was just worried when I saw those lion tracks around there. If he wasn't able to move and they did find him, he would have had a tough time. So to see him again he's obviously still grooming that leg. I think that leg is still not 100%, but it is certainly 90% back to normal. The swelling is almost gone. Of course, he's hiding it right now. I'm hoping he's going to come out from behind the tree and we'll be able to see it better, so you guys can see that it's really... look at that. That swelling is almost down completely. Isn't that amazing? I actually, when we were off air now, quickly sent a shot to the vets that I'd been talking to, and both of them just sent back this emoticon of just this big wide eyes, and it's ridiculous, that a cat can process that and survive this stuff. They were saying the same thing. It's just amazing how resilient they actually are, which is cool. So they were very keen to see the effects too, because obviously being vets, they said there's not many times that they get to work with leopards and puff adder bites, and knowing the exact days of envenomation and how it works and all those kinds of things. So they were super interested in this, and so I've tried to send them photos of every time we've seen it or seen him, and they, like I say, too, are pretty shocked by how amazing it's kind of turned out, which is cool. So well done, little boy. You managed to overcome a massive hurdle in life there, to be able to get through that. And I think there's also one thing is testament to Thandi, and to how incredible a mother she is. We often talk about Thandi being, quite fierce and quite full of beans and quite sort of abrasive at times. But one thing no one can ever say about this cat is that she is not a good mother. She has always found a way to get to her cubs when she needs to and look after them. I mean, I know she's lost one litter, and I know she's lost cubs in litters as she's gone. But when we kind of left him the other day, we were saying that she's going to be a vital part of his recovery, and I wouldn't be surprised her finding him and potentially taking him to a meal, if that's what she did, is part of why his recovery has been so much better. You'd probably find if she did find him and he was hobbling, she would have helped with grooming, she would have just kind of been there. And even now, being with him now is a protecting factor. Even if he was still hobbling and she was with him, she would be able to defend him from hyenas and typically just try and take a bit of the stress away. And there's no doubt that in most healing situations, the more stressed you are, the more the body struggles. So if mom can be there and be in some ways just comforting to him, I'm pretty sure that helps in his kind of overall demeanor and sort of way of going about things. So it's really cool to see that she's still here and that she's still as active as a parent. I know she's stolen his kill now, and a lot of people will be like, oh, she stole his kill, but he's fat and full, and it's not like he needs this right now. He's looking super good. Whereas she's quite sort of not ragged, but she's skinny. So I don't know how much she's been moving around to try and kind of feed him. Who knows if she even made the kill and just let him eat for the hope of him getting better. I don't know. These are all things that we're not sure about. But she's here and she's present, and that is testament to her as a mom. I think she's not Karula in terms of raising cubs, but she's pretty close. And is one of the most successful females that we could possibly hope for. And I've said it before that on average in the Sabi Sands, it's only 1.6 cubs per adult leopard's life that they raise. That is the average. So for a leopardess to have raised 6 different cubs in her life to adulthood, and I know that obviously Wabayiza was killed by lions, but that was after he had left her for quite some time, is no mean feat. I mean, it's almost 6 times better than what the average is. So she's a serious mom, and it's sad that she's getting older because, you just kind of want her to keep going because of how incredibly well she's done in terms of repopulating leopards in these areas and making sure that we have a decent amount of cats around. So kudos to Thandi. Anyway, while we sit with these two and just enjoy our morning with them and revel in the fact that he's fine, and we have Thandi too because she's also been MIA, let's send you back across to Lauren.
The Talamati just killed everyone. I don't know what they killed. Covered in blood. We could hear the kill taking place. This is deep in the drainage line. It took us a while to get here. It's very... We could hear it. We literally could hear the kill taking place. I'll try and find out what the exact kill. I can see all the other Pride members in the drainage far away. But this is a thick drainage. It must be 500 meters, if that, away from Kalamba. And I'm not joking, she will hear all of this. We are very, very close to Kalamba, everybody.
Got them on the other side.
Oh, that's the kill. That's one of the young boys, the sub-adult boys. It's got something. Well done, Dove. And this is what lions do. They run in for the lion's share and then run out. That's where that phrase came from. What a morning. Lion hunt. Kalamba, Tandy, Mareeves was absolutely fine. And this is a joy, this is a beauty of winter, everyone. Animals are hungry. Blue Eye, that's Blue Eye, the oldest lioness. It's difficult to tell until you see her face, but that's Blue Eye. Swazi will hear that if he's still in the area. My goodness, what a morning. We're going to try and investigate a little bit further and try and see if we can find out exactly what they killed.
What a morning indeed. Overcast, windy days are often very productive days for predators. And also a very nice time to have a cup of coffee. There's definitely a leopard here somewhere, and the impalas have shouted again. Will we find it on foot, though? We most certainly shall try.
What an unbelievable morning. I still can't figure out what they've killed. Just shows you how quick it happened. We were with them. We started to follow them. And before you know it, they've killed something. I can hear all the crunching. Everybody's crunching. It's amazing. We stopped to do a sort of silent moment in Giraffe Dip, and this is what we heard. Well, Talamatis, it's a joy having you guys back. There's more coming, Darby. There's some individuals coming. I think this was a small kill. I don't think it was a big... The Tony's just landed. I think that's a Tony. Not sure if Darby has a perfect... Ah, there, we're done. Yep, it's a Tony. Incoming Tony. Tina, you're seen as a predator banquet. I know Kalamba's got her kill. I'm not sure she'll be there right now. We're really not that far apart, just to give you some context. Talamati's eating something, and Tandy and Maleev's with a water monitor. This is right next to our car, by the way. This boy is about 1.5 meters away. Oh, this girl, sorry. It's safe to say that, it's the one that's missing the tip of her tail. Hello, girl. She's one of the sub-adult females. She's missing that black floof, I like to call it. And she's got a slightly strange 2 back legs. It's almost as if there's maybe a slight deformity there. She doesn't walk as well as the others. She keeps up with the pride, don't get me wrong, but if you just look at her body, the back legs, I don't know whether it's skeletal or muscular, but there's something not quite right with her back legs. We'll try and show you. And she's missing the black floof, so she's really easy to identify. She's one of the female sub-adults. Wow. And you know, we don't get to spend, I see some people say we don't spend time with our lions. We absolutely do, when they're on our property. Otherwise, unfortunately, we can't. But any time the Talamatis are here, we're with them. I don't think the mothers with cubs are here, I'm afraid. Definitely not here. Not at a kill site. I think the cubs are far too young. Skynova, I believe so, yes. I really do. Almost this exact spot where we... Look at the grass. The grass is bright red. Can you see that, Dove? Red grass. This exact spot where we are, we had the Talamatis not so long ago. I think all animals are creatures of habit, but they all have their little moments and things that surprise you and remind you that they are wild animals. But at the end of the day, they have got a territory. I went into quite a lot of depth with this yesterday. They've got their core region, then they've got the outer regions. They'll have dams where they just like the water. They'll have areas that they go to because it's most successful for kills. They'll have den sites that they go to because they've raised cubs successfully there. I believe they are creatures of habit. I think most animals are. We just can't always understand their habits. Now, we're really close to the dam cam, really. I mean, we're at Giraffe Dip, so we're just east of the dam cam, so it wouldn't surprise me if these guys end up at Gowrie Dam. Well, so much for the past few days, which have been relatively quiet. That Sabado just got scolded. That was don't come any closer. It smells quite strong now. I'd quite like to get into the drainage to see everybody else, but we're stuck. We can't get past these individual tawny bodies in front of us right now. But if we can, we will. I want to see where everybody else is and possibly try and identify what they killed. Wow, what a morning. We're going to sit here, of course, and spend a little bit more time with our Talamati pride.
Hi, I'm Dee from the south coast of England. Today I was told I have won the most amazing prize to go to Marataba. Oh, I can't believe it. I became hooked on WildEarth last year when I was trying to escape COVID, and animals are my thing. I just love them and I love what WildEarth does. So that's why I wanted to become an explorer. Just so looking forward to going out to Marataba. Want to do a walking safari. Thank you so much, WildEarth.
Sign up to be an explorer today, and it could be you jetting off on an all-expenses-paid-for safari experience. WildEarth Explorers. It's in your nature. As one of the industry's best and FAGASA-endorsed training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests. The full-length career course results in a FAGASA-accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Moore Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July, don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
You are cheeky. That was a brave decision. Amber Eyes is... Oh. That is so magic. That was absolutely wonderful. Amber Eyes just gave that cub an enormous hug.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth Daily.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Pridelands, where all the action is happening on the other side in Djuma, but that's all right. We've got some marvellous trees to show you this morning, and another spectacular specimen looms above my head. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous tree. I've spoken about this tree before, back in the days in Pridelands when we used to drive around, and I stopped a few times at this tree, and I think I've given it a hug, but I think this tree needs another hug, because it's going through a little bit of a bad patch. A few of the branches are falling off. It's definitely the largest of its kind I've ever seen. Have you hugged a tree today, everybody? Sentient beings rooted to the ground. I recommend hugging them with your feet bare to the earth and feeling the energy. Okay, so what tree do we have? You'll notice that it's flaky, blotchy, and look at these large strips here. It's quite dirty because animals have been rubbing on here, but have a look at these large strips. Now I wonder who can guess what tree this might be. It's very characteristic in the way that it's designed. Very, very characteristic. The inner bark is nice and purple and can actually be used for making a very nice dye. And in the Swazi culture, it's known as the tree of forgetfulness. What was I saying? I did that the other day. It's probably not funny anymore. But the roots have got a very sort of fibrous, sort of fungus-like growth on there, probably mycelium, which has been locally used for snuff, which you inhale, and it helps you to forget if there is anything you need to forget. So we have the marula, which is the tree of marriage, one of union, and the tree of forgetfulness. If Mpo and I had some disagreements, we'd come and sit underneath this tree, maybe be tied to this tree until we sort out our disagreements and then let them go in the past. So let us know, what tree have we got here? What tree looms over my head? What tree is it that is part of the mango family as well as the marula, that has these lovely strips here? Right, man, I like hugging all trees, but the bigger the better. The small ones just don't really provide the same sort of... Oh, that's actually quite nice. Oh, I haven't hugged a tree that small before. The bigger the better, though. The bigger the better. Baobabs are really quite something to hug. On my last Preferred Trail, I got my group to climb up the tree. Some of them climbed up before thinking and got up there and thought, what on earth am I doing up in this tree? We're quite high off the ground. And baobabs are lovely to climb and to hug. But anybody know what this might be? Sasha, we don't get jacarandas here in the Kruger. Jacaranda is actually an exotic tree from South America. Interestingly enough, in the 70s or 60s, they were given out to people all over Johannesburg and Pretoria when they had a baby. Now, here we go plant this tree. And Pretoria is known as the Jacaranda City. And if you drive through Pretoria in the spring months, it is just purple, purple, purple everywhere. And if you park your car underneath a jacaranda tree, it's going to get very dirty. But jacaranda, Pretoria is the city of jacarandas, but not actually an indigenous tree to South Africa. Lily pan? I think you might be onto something there. Now, first of all, let's just have a look. See how long and strippy these are here? Now, if I take your attention to the tree just over there, that one there, you'll notice how the bark is very golf ball-esque. I spoke about this just before. That is the marula over there with the golf ball-like marks on the stem. And now if we come back to a rough and peeling and flaking, there's the marula. And Lilipan guessed the false marula. Now, remember I spoke about the strips of bacon. Now, this is a very, very big specimen. This is the biggest specimen I've come across. Often it's much easier to notice those things. But if I show you now on the ground. We've actually got a branch just over here. I'm going to close the book on you. And just on the ground here, where the branch has been broken off, you'll see again these strips of bacon that get sort of peeled off. I know it's not, we shouldn't always be talking about bacon. It makes certain people quite hungry. But there's certain things I like to associate in the bush that help you with identifying birds or trees. So I hope that's very helpful. But we're going to go find us another tree. And we send you back to Tristan, who's having a very nice leopard morning.
Well, I mean, there's no hugging of trees happening here from our leopards, unfortunately. It's just a monitor that is being slowly but surely decimated. But it is absolutely fascinating watching Thandi feed off this monitor, because she's basically like a surgeon, cut the entire spine of this monitor. So she started at the tail and she's worked her way up, and she's now getting towards the head, and I have no idea why she's cutting the skin away from the back. I don't know if it's maybe to try and open it out to actually get inside because the skin is so tough. I don't know if that's what she's doing or why it is that she's done this perfect straight line from the tail all the way up the head and along the back. I'll actually keep quiet a little bit just so you can hear her eating the skin, because the skin is like rubber. It sounds like she's eating a tire. Well, she stops, of course. Amazing. I was saying, Morgan and I were saying that she didn't kill a monitor lizard, she killed a small crocodile this morning. And this thing is monstrous. When she lies next to it, it's pretty much from the tip of its head to the tip of its tail, which I know they have long tails, it's almost as long as she is. It's crazy how big this monitor lizard is. It's certainly one of the largest I've seen in a long time. And it's a shame that it's been killed. Like I say, these big old monitors like this, there's not millions of them around. And it takes a lot for a monitor to reach that age, a lot of experience. And it's sad when you kind of think that that individual is no longer part of the system. But for Thandi, it's a really good meal that is well needed. I saw her just now standing up again, and she was thin. She needed a good feeding, so I'm glad for her that she's gotten a good meal, and it's part of nature, as we say. Fortunately, the cats have got to eat at some point. So you can see she's struggling with that skin. And you can imagine on an old monitor like this, it must be leathery and hard and difficult.
Marips is hugging a tree.
Yeah, Marips is hugging his tree. He's in the naughty corner at the moment because he was chasing squirrels, and I think Mom was going to discipline him because he caused much panic and much alarm calls, and she had to panic and try to drag it towards a tree at one point, and then she sort of sat down. So maybe he's in the naughty corner now. But shame, he's so cute, that cat. Errol, you're asking whether or not reptile meat is the same nutritional quality as herbivore meat. Honestly, I don't know. I would imagine they must. Monitors should be pretty good from a nutrient value. The problem is the tough skin. I mean, you can see, look at Thandi, she's struggling to break that skin to actually get to the meat underneath. So I think it's a lot of hard work to eat a monitor as opposed to, a soft-skinned animal like an impala. And there's certainly a lot more meat on an impala than there is on a monitor lizard or a small crocodile like this. But it would take it takes a lot of effort, and I'm sure the meat, though, is still tasty enough. Otherwise, she wouldn't eat it. They would have just killed it and left it. But she does look like she's struggling to get through that meat, that skin. I wonder if she gets a sore jaw after a while, like her muscles in her jaw get tired from trying to chew like this. So cool, though, to see the two of them. I'm happy today. Come, boy, are you going to come back? He looks like he's perked up a bit. We had some guinea fowls walk past, which I thought for sure were going to get tormented by him. But maybe he, like I say, he knows that he's going to be in trouble if he causes guinea fowls to go absolutely buck wild all over the place and attract hyenas and stuff. Maybe Mom will shout at him. So he's behaving himself a little bit this morning. Which is a good thing, but he's such a character, this cat. Even before we kind of were able to go live, because we had them maybe about 10 minutes earlier, we were just struggling to try to get everything sorted out. And he drank from water, then he was up a log, and then Thandi went up the log, and then he was trying to chase Thandi up the log and try and kind of push on her and rub on her, and you know how she gets. She doesn't enjoy it that much. And then he was investigating cars and going and looking at everybody in the vehicle, and then, decided to actually start hawking and doing his own thing. But it's just fun to watch him go about his business. Lots of character in that cat. I think he might fall asleep over there. As soon as he sees Thandi move, though, he's going to come trotting to come and eat. Even though he's got a full tummy, there's always room for more when you're a young growing boy. I wonder if she's done this to basically fold the skin over. Because it seems like she's opened it out now. It's almost like she's butterflied this monitor lizard, which means that she's had experience with monitors. I mean, at her age, she's eaten a few monitors in her time. But the way that, like I say, she's surgically kind of eaten up the back of this monitor, I think that's obviously what she was trying to do, is just try and get to the meaty areas on the back side of it. And that's why she kind of has fed the way that she has. See, she's kind of just eating along the spine. Such a crazy view. And like I said, I know some of you might be a bit squeamish, but it is part and parcel of being out here. And so if you are, probably good not to be watching between the sounds and the kind of quite goriness of bits of red stuff sticking out all over the place. Better not to watch if you find these things difficult to watch. She looks like she's really struggling with actually getting the skin to open out. Silly girl. Right, we're going to leave them and go and look at some hippos. No, I'm joking. We're not going to be leaving them at all. We're going to stay with them the entirety of the morning. Hopefully little Mareeps will come and have a feed at some point. Well, we'll just sit in silence and just let you guys listen to the sounds of this cat feeding. Unfortunately, our eating silence has been disrupted it somewhat by a vehicle that's just arrived, so I do apologize about that. But
Apparently they caught one or two. Oh, that's yeah. So the son caught from the other day. And yeah, so really diminishing our mouse level population. Not very much else. But we had two really big mouse levels.
It's a big monitor though, sure. When she picks it up, you realize just how large it is. And she hasn't even eaten the tail yet of this particular monitor, so still got a long way to go to finish. Sure, though, at some point now she's going to get tired of eating and maybe just go and sit and lie down a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if Marips comes in and starts to play with it. When she does leave it, we'll just stay with them. Let's see what happens and what they get up to.
Managed to identify some of the individuals. Now, this beauty that you're looking at right now with really pale eyes is one of the Avoca's daughters. She's an Avoca daughter. Either dark mane, mohawk, or blondie. Who knows? Could be any of them. Now, this lioness in the back here, who really looks... she looks old. This is actually the oldest lioness. My bad. It's not Blue Eye. Sorry, I was thinking of Purple Eye and then Gohuans. I got momentarily confused, but this is the old Talamati lioness. And I'm pretty sure she is the oldest. I mean, if I'm wrong, please let me know, but she looks very old and she's really easy to identify. She's got really heavy black coloration around her eyes. Yeah, well, that's going to be that view. We're not going to get that view again. We've managed to show you the three boys, the three Sabatos today from earlier as well. And they are all the Avoca boys, I believe. And then we showed you Blue Eye, who is really easy to identify. She's got a blue eye. And Short Tail. Hello, lady. You are so pretty. Davy, she's looking at you. Why are you looking at Davy? Now, they've all moved remarkably close to the car, so we're not going to be able to move. I was hoping we could put our engine on and go into the drainage to see who else is there, but it's not going to happen. Now, this is an impala that's been crunched at this side, but I heard on the radio the other lot of the Pride got another impala, so I think they made 2 kills, 2 impalas at the exact same time as what I can gather so far. But that's definitely the leg of an impala, believe it or not. We could see it properly earlier. The Talamatis really... I've had a lot of sightings of Talamatis on kills. They're a hungry bunch. But the old Talamati lioness really looks old. She's got black around her eye, her ears are tattered, lots of scars. She just looks really old, and that's how you can identify her. I wonder if Darkmane's here. He could possibly be in the vicinity. I don't know. We're not able to get into that drainage just yet. But if he stayed on Djuma, I would imagine he would have heard all that. Lisa, that's an interesting question, because obviously that old lioness, who's clearly a little bit grumpy, growled at Short Tail, the Short Tail Avoca daughter. I think we need to come up with a better name for her. Little Miss Tinkerbell. I'm going to go with that for now. But they do bully each other over food. But I wouldn't say they bully for deformities, no. A pride is a social cohesive unit. Just because someone's maybe got weak back legs or they don't keep up with the pride, they absolutely would not be bullied for that. They all need each other. Oh, she's going in for that bone. Would you look at that? But they bully over food. A bit of a hierarchy over food. But when there's no food, no, absolutely not. They wouldn't bully because of deformities. It's amazing. Animals don't see things like that. They maybe won't wait up for her if she can't keep up, but she absolutely can. I'm generalizing here. They maybe wouldn't necessarily always wait for her, but she would absolutely not be bullied out of the pride, no. It's amazing how humans can really pinpoint and pick out those that are different, bully each other. Which is awful. It's a great thing that we're different, right? Imagine if we were all the same. Ugh. But it doesn't work like that in the animal kingdom. And she's not severely deformed. It's just you'll be able to see when she's walking. She just doesn't walk as properly as the others. I'll try and show you if we can see her down in the drainage here. Oh, she's absolutely fine, this one. She's really beautiful for me. She's got one of the most beautiful faces I have ever seen in a lioness. She's gorgeous. So are you. You're beautiful too. You're all beautiful. And with the Talamatis, there are 5 adults, and the most easiest ones to identify are Blue Eye and the oldest lioness. Out of the adults, they are definitely the key individuals that are the easiest for sure. So hopefully soon I'm going to be able to get down into this drainage and see what else has been going on. We have another wonderful guest with us, Sergio Real. Sergio is a holder of the Ticket to Dream.
I bought a Ticket to Dream because I love WildEarth. All of the guides have been awesome. We've been watching for years, and it's a favorite part of my day to get to watch the drives. I look forward to seeing lots of leopards.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
My favorite part of the drive today was definitely an elephant that paid us a visit and came right to our car.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
It's amazing being on a live drive in Djuma. It's just fantastic. The scenery is beautiful and the animals are even better.
The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, encourages people to care for the earth. Through innovative projects, they aim to reverse the serious issues that we face in the world today. One of these projects is Green Coast, a proudly South African award for sensitive and well-managed coastal sites. This sustainability project protects our national coastlines while providing unemployed youth with a love for their environment and a hope for the future. WESA is a membership and volunteer-supported organisation. Every supporter is helping to change the only earth we have. Visit our website to see how you can help care for our earth.
Oh, it's going to be in trouble now. Oh, this is unbelievable stuff. Here comes a hippo in too. Go, Impala. There's a hippo coming in. I can't believe what we're seeing here. This is what we normally see in East Africa. It's all over. Hippo leaping at the crocodile now. Everything's gone underwater.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth Daily.
Welcome back, everybody, to another bark segment. Now, I hope you're enjoying the trees this morning. It's always nice to get involved with the bark of a tree, and here we've got one that is quite coarse and what we'd call deeply fissured. That's a very easy tree to identify by the bark itself, but when we look closely at it, you'll notice as you go up the stem, it starts to get these spikes protruding out of the stem, out of the coarseness. Got a very nice leaf. We're not going to look at leaves today because today is all about the bark of trees, and we'll discuss that a bit more in the closing segments of the show. But very coarse and rough. And you can see the spines on the end here. It's not the white thorns like we saw earlier with the flaky bark acacia. Definitely spines, which are modified branches. And this very coarsely grained. There's quite a few in the book that are coarsely grained, but none that are coarse like this and also have spines growing off of the stem. I wonder if any of you are able to identify that for me. Leslie, the hardiest trees are most likely sicklebush. Sicklebush seem to do very, very well, and we just happen to have one right here. A sicklebush. So the tree we're looking at is not a sicklebush. Sicklebush isn't that easy to identify from its bark alone, but by the structure of these very strong spines on. So this is very hardy. These are pioneers. And these take over as well. They're also very, very good bush encroachers, but nitrogen fixers at the same time. They actually benefit the soil where they are. But they are prone to overutilizing an area, or should I say taking over an area. And getting rid of them after they've really taken over is a very difficult thing. Rochelle reckons it might be a buffalo thorn, this one. Well, Rochelle, buffalo thorns they don't have spines on the stem itself, and buffalo thorn would have actual thorns on the branches. We look at this branch here, it's got very sharp, long spines, when a buffalo thorn's got a straight and a hooked thorn on each branch, and those branches are actually a little bit red in color. But the bark itself definitely does have a very similar sort of buffalo thorn look to it, the jujube, and it's why we can't always rely specifically on bark. We talk about bark, we talk about how many of the trees today we've easily been able to identify, but the bark can sometimes only get you so far, and then you're going to have to compare. So once we've looked at the bark and we have a look on this page here, have a look at how many, all of this here falls under the same category. Got the black monkey thorn, river acacia, silver clustleaf, wild pear, buffalo thorn. That's why Rochelle possibly thought. It does look very similar to that. Umbrella thorn, horned acacia, sicklebush, which is quite long and longitudinal, weeping wattle, red acacia. Here we've got the pioneer spike thorn, the tree wisteria, and the scented pod. So you can see how there's quite a few that look quite similar. So you can't always rely specifically on the bark, but the bark can at least get you to, 12 different species, and then you can have a look. Okay, so now that we've got the bark, it's given us to an area, what can we see? On the stem, we can see very straight thorns or spines, and the leaves are actually growing off of those spines in places, which will, and when we do find a leaf, here is one here, and there's only one plant here that's got this very specific type of leaf. Two have got a similar, but this one with this pale sort of almost turquoisey green is the pioneer spike thorn or the common spike thorn. So nice to be able to compare different trees together with the barks, but just goes to show you that the bark alone can't always give you the answer. Okay, well, we're going to move on, see if we can find you something else, and we're going to send you back over to Tristan with his cats.
Well, we're still watching Thandi dismantling this monitor, and it's amazing. She's done this with surgical precision. Do you see how she's eaten on either side of the spine and ribs and hasn't... Oh, now she's changed it. Thandi. Anyway, she had eaten literally straight down the spine. She's left the stomach. She hasn't opened the stomach out. She's basically just eating all the nice flesh along the back part of this monitor, which is pretty interesting. Still, the tail is still attached, obviously, and legs, but she's literally just eaten along the edge of the spine, so all the fillets, essentially, is what she's gone for, which is amazing. It's not quite the same way that they would normally eat an animal. A little bit different. We also had alarm calls for an impala now to the south of us. I know Darkmane was not far from us on the airstrip, but I don't think it's him because he went down into a nets, whereas this alarm call is not that far, but it's more towards an area like kind of eastwards, so that could very well be Kuchava or maybe Tsemba or Shasha. Any of them really could be that side, or it could be that they're just smelling where these leopards walked and the impala's shouting. It shouted for quite a while. It was about 10 minutes that it was making noise, so it's possible it's just where they've been sleeping or something that it came across, and that's why it was a little bit wary. There you can see the spine kind of perfectly picked clean. Amazing. You can hear it crunching the leg now. And it begs the question as to whether or not there's another kill, because she was leading him somewhere. So I wonder if she doesn't have another one somewhere stashed in a tree already that she'll take him to. I don't think they'll be here this afternoon in this exact spot. This monitor, I'm pretty sure between the two of them they'll finish during the course of today. So, I mean, they might be. It will be interesting to see if they're here or not. There's still a fair bit of meat, but I expect both of them to finish this pretty quick during the course of today. I mean, if you see how much she's already sort of destroyed the back part of it, it's just the legs and tail now that's really left in her head. So I'm sure she'll kind of get through that as well. She was skinny, so she'll have enjoyed a good meal this morning. Anyway, it's that time of the day for us to say goodbye to all of you. I hope that you have had a good morning. It has been a stellar morning. There's been a predator bonanza this morning, and everybody's been eating. We were talking about it yesterday that a lot of the cats are going to be killing in weather like this, and so Telematis was successful, Kalamba was successful, and obviously Thandi and Mariep's paw being such a big part. But anyway, from all of us, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you this afternoon on our Sunset Safari.